see her box and I'm like, I have a couple people in mind.
Me too, Kelly.
On the list. She's, I mean, everything she does, she truly is just another Renaissance woman. So without further ado.
Yay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm coming this way. I'm so sorry. It's like Tetris. Booty rubs. Hi, everybody. So I will say, normally when I speak, I'm a freestyler. I like to just go at the top of my heart. But today I came prepared with notes because I don't want it to be too much about me. I really want this to be about you guys. So I want to have some organization. So if you see me looking down, looking back up, it's really just because I don't want to. I'm a blabber. I have the gift of gab. I will talk your head off for sure. And I would love to talk with you guys too afterwards. I would love to connect with everyone and learn more about what you guys do and how we can work together. I love feeling like I have purpose in impacting other people. So that's really why I'm here. And I really will give you an idea of who I am and just why I've been led to this position through my spirit of excellence in everything I do. Me and Laci go way back. This is actually our first time meeting in person. I've known her for about 11 years. 11 years. Crazy, right? She's been my Facebook friend, Instagram friend, my prayer partner. She was a leader in my Bible study for years, where a lot of my life, I had a lot of transformation in my life, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about that. And yeah, so I would love to start off. I want a little bit of like an interactive conversation with who in here has a dream that they're currently working on, or maybe even a dream they've never even spoken out loud, just by raising your hand. A dream you're working on, or something you've never even told. Anybody have a dream? Okay, so pretty much everybody. Okay, amazing. So I knew that coming here, this room would be full of a bunch of called women. I believe that we're all here today to acknowledge the simple truth that our calling is waking up and we're rising. The rise and shine. Being a girl from a small town in South Dakota, I honestly never had an imagination of having dreams or goals. I didn't even think, people were like, what were your dreams? What were your goals? I didn't have them. I didn't know that a life like this was possible. Rooms like this, friends like this. I didn't really have even encouragement to think like this or believe that my life could look the way it does now. I have always felt like that I was the black sheep of my family. I always had a strong feeling that what I needed to do was leave my hometown. So I knew I needed to grow my wings, and I did that first thing after college. My college boyfriend, he turned into my fiance. We moved all over the country. He played basketball. That was, again, how we had our connection. I became a nurse really in college because in high school, I took a personality test that said I was good with people. I was like, okay. It said, these are your jobs you could do if you're good with people. These are things you could do. And I was like, oh, okay, you make this much money. You get paid every Friday. Sign me up. There wasn't really much reason behind it other than that. No one ever had went to college in my family or was in the medical field. I went through the motions and found a great career. I was a great nurse. But I found myself living a life that was not meant for me. Always looking at the clock. I was way too creative. I was always talking with everybody. People were always like, you're interesting. Like, why are you a nurse? People would literally say that to me. And not that I was like making people die, but there was a question that people had. So I fell in love with the idea of building my own brand online. I didn't know it then, but I just loved sharing who I was and the things that I enjoyed, although it was a very small community, mostly just my friends and family. And at work, it was all I could think about. So come to my college boyfriend. He was the one to get me out of my hometown. He played basketball overseas. We traveled the world together. We mostly lived in Turkey for 3 years, and he was from Washington, D.C., so he brought me home. This is how I met Ingrid. We went to a very small church. I think I was the only white person there for maybe like a few years, maybe a couple people. I remember the first time being in church. I always had a relationship with God, but I remember the first time being in church and everyone had their hands raised, and I was like, oh God. I was like, Todd, Pastor Todd had like this box, and he was doing a display of, we were meeting, I think, in a college auditorium. there was maybe 40 of us. But that was when I really grew my relationship with God, and I really started to have a real relationship with God. Tangi was probably my biggest advocate for my prayer language, for community building through Christ, and just really having discernment on what it is that he wanted in my life. So I have so much gratitude for that relationship, that time traveling, the solitude that I had in that time to discover myself that I didn't have when I was working, friends, dinners, being busy in life. So it was always during this time that I didn't have much to do, so I picked up a paintbrush out of a hobby. We had a little paint store down the street from our gym. From my house to the gym was a little paint store and arts and crafts store. So I went inside, I bought the supplies, and I pulled up a YouTube video, and I just started watching YouTube videos on like wine and paint tutorials, sunsets, different things like that. So I really fell in love with painting. And if you guys all see the journals that you have, I painted those. Yes, so I've created probably, at least a couple thousand journals, but most of my art is fine art and canvases. So during this time, I'll keep my story of all those things short. If you want to know more about those experiences, I can for sure tell you. But so little did I know, teaching myself how to paint, it would be that exact job that retired me from nursing. I became a full-blown artist, and through COVID, I had an amazing experience of really just believing in myself in something that I'd never done before, which was entrepreneurship. So I was not only learning how to be an artist, but I was learning how to be an entrepreneur. I was learning how to build a brand. I taught myself how to create events and how to build communities. And really, it was my people that were around me that made my life and my business successful. And of course, my skill, I do believe art is subjective, but it was really the people that supported me and was just so happy to see me being passionate about my art that I had a lot of support from that in all those relationships. So I really want this to be a reminder to us all that through many ups and downs, through becoming an entrepreneur, I was led to a moment, I had many, but one specifically, that I had a big breakdown. And I was very embarrassed, I was very betrayed. Engagement called off. I had a client that I had an art show that basically scammed me of the most money, a $30,000 situation where I was scammed. And I remember having COVID right before Christmas in 2021. And I was so depressed. It was like 30 days of me being like, feeling sorry for myself, like telling myself in my head over and over, I'm depressed. I'll do anything not to be a nurse again. Like I just was like, I got a taste of this art. I got scammed. I had this art dealer that was in a Me Too movement, and people were accusing me of possibly being led to the things that he was being accused of with other women. And it was just really dark. And during that time, I had an experience that I learned how to become an investor through one of my very successful months as an entrepreneur in artistry. I bought a duplex. And through that journey, I had taught myself how to be an investor. So learning how to be an investor at this time of my very sad moment, I was like, you know what? I really enjoyed that. That was something that brought me passion. I felt like I was very knowledgeable about it, and I was very excited to learn how to do a transaction. And it made me feel like a boss bitch. I was like, I bought a house. Yes. And I'm a landlord and I have tenants, and it was a responsibility that I was like, I would love to teach other people how to do this. So during that time, I said, I am gonna take a break from painting. I'm not going back to nursing. I'm gonna become a realtor. And I'm gonna change my entire brand, all my followers, everybody's gonna see I'm a real estate agent in Miami. I just moved to Miami. I'd probably lived here for maybe 6 months. Didn't have a lot of relationships, but I knew that God would bring me through and show me how I could do it if I just trusted him. So, moved to Florida. Although I'll forever be a nurse and an artist, I stopped everything to give this career all of me. I definitely struggled a lot, feeling like people were always wondering what job I was gonna do next. I was a personal trainer, I was doing beach body, I was a nurse, I was a travel nurse, I was doing all these random different careers and trying to monetize through social media, making content, doing different things. And now she's selling real estate. They're like, what? What are you gonna do next? So one thing that was for sure, my habits never changed. My habits, starting with the morning and starting with my dream of a better life, never changed. My desire for impact never changed. But I finally had alignment and experience to know what it was that God had waiting for me. It wasn't real estate experience. It was experiencing things that just made me be disciplined to committing to something to see it through. I didn't always see this version of me, but I did decide to show up anyway. I started when it didn't make sense. I spoke it out loud before I had proof.
Yes.
So my morning routine, my prayers, my community, my commitment to growing my relationship with God and honoring Him by taking care of my body. I'm obsessed with health and wellness, helping others, being a leader in my family, in my community. God knew the plan He had for me, and He had this incredible, amazing partner preparing for me. So now I want to do something with everyone because I do really believe in a really big part of our success, and it doesn't have to be our job. I'm using my job as an example of things that have went from breakdown to breakthrough. As this is part of our conversation, there's a lot of things that have come through even more important in our jobs. In me personally, through these things and depending on God, knowing if you can create a new career in me, you can create a new habit or character in me. But I want to do something that kind of gives us a little bit of confirmation through visualization. So we're just going to do 1 minute. I want everyone to close our eyes for 1 minute. I'm going to time it. And what we're going to do, okay, so the minute's starting now. Starting now. So everybody close your eyes. So we're focusing for 1 minute and we're visualizing ourselves 1 year from now. See yourself 1 year from now. You did it. You're being congratulated. You're executing exactly what it was you said you were going to do. You rise with gratitude. You created that podcast. You found that beautiful relationship, or you restored a new relationship. You released all the fears that are holding you back. You have a beautiful relationship with the Lord, and your discernment has led you to new places you've never seen. Your skin is glowing. You look in the mirror at your body and you're proud. Everyone can open their eyes. My inspiration for everyone is to never be afraid to start chapter 1. With no one cheering you on, with no help getting that push, start before you're ready. Done is better than perfect. The enemy is resistance. Take action, take consistent action. The only way you fail is if you quit. You're 1 yes away, you are 1 connection away, and you are 1 day away from your life changing forever. Love you guys.
So good.
Thank you.